Hello and welcome back here to the Into the Mines podcast. Welcome to episode 3 of the SRL Mines season, and today I'm joined by our co-hosts Riley Murray and Will Kaye, and the host here today, myself here, Eddie Oliver. How you going, boys?
Hey, how's it going, Eddie?
Hey Eddie, very happy to be once again back on the show. I think I'm gonna have to get a permanent spot now.
Oh,
Yeah, it
definitely,
looks
mate.
like
I
it.
reckon it was a good episode last week with you. And to be starting off this podcast here this week, we're going to be touching on the games from last week and talking about the general stats with here our two co-hosts. We're going to be starting off here with the Hamilton Swarm and the Cairns Firehawks. The Swarm coming away with a 24-6 victory against the Cairns Firehawks here. Pretty much it was all the Swarm in that game there, and Cashel, King, and Tiawa, and Bontoff, all players getting tries and just being general really confident players and just bringing out the Swarm name in that game. Do you want to sort of talk about, from what in the commentary box it looked like up there, Kay?
Yeah, that Swarm game was just something terrific from Hamilton. They're playing at home for the first time against the Firehawks, and they just really looked confident out there in their old jerseys. They had a phenomenal outing. I think Lockie Cashel rather, was easily the best player in the field. He set up a try and got one for himself, and he probably got one of the best tries that I've seen in the Mines for a very long time. Um, and just it was class across all sides of the field. The forwards were really good for the Swarm, and I think that's what really brought them home. They got 3 forwards up there, excluding the hooker that got over 100 run meters.
Definitely there. And as you'll see later into the podcast, just talking about the stats, possession 55%, 20 completions, just everything statistics-wise going the Swarm way. And the Firehawks here, Riley, not much to really talk about, but that man from on the show last week, Cyrus Marks, getting over for a try.
Yeah, it was good to see him get his first try in the fullback jersey. The team didn't really do too well overall, but I think that he was maybe one of the better players. I think that Gould also had another good game. He's a pretty consistent player in that lock jersey.
Definitely there, Gould, and all these players we're talking about, they're going to be spoken more later on the show here. And moving on to the second game of the week here, we're going to be talking about the Perth Hogs and the Melbourne Ravens. A golden point game it was here, Kay. And it was Doon and that man from memory getting the field goal there to get the win for the Ravens.
Yeah, it wasn't a easy kick from Duna by any regards. It's about 30 out and just to the left of the goalposts. Came off the left boot and slotted it perfectly. And that just literally stole the win from underneath the Hogs. They just did a bit of a carpet pull on them. And I think they kind of ambushed them near the end of the match. They scored that try, I think it was about the 76th minute from memory. And that was through Lightning McQueen on that left edge, out of a pass out of hooker. And that really inspired the Ravens, and it only took them a set, really, to get down the other end and kick a field goal.
Yeah, no, definitely they're just getting away and Doon and taking it from a bit 30 meters out. It just looked like he was going to take a normal settler there, Doon, and then he just went straight for the kick. Stats-wise, it sort of was all the Hogs early, Riley, and, as Kay said, the Ravens just came back and ambushed them in the end.
Yeah, well, I think that the Hogs, even though they started off so well, I think that overall the Ravens just had a much better game just due to how they went in the end. I think that their performance in the end there just kind of made them the better team there. And then I guess that's why they got away with the win.
Yeah, no, definitely. Then talking about how they were ambushed, just stats-wise, the 18 out of 20 completions there for the Hogs and the 15 out of 13 for the Ravens sort of came down to what we've been talking about in recent weeks on the podcast. Just the teams who take the moments when presented to them. And the Ravens were that team there in Golden Point. They just took the moment, and it was that man Doonan just slotted it from 30 meters out there. Moving on here, we're going to be talking about the Into the Mines Team of the Week. And that team there's going to be, that award here is going to be given to the Hamilton Swarm, who came away with that 24-6 victory against the Cairns Firehawks. It was a beautiful victory there for them. Riley, viewing this game, what were your thoughts about giving the Swarm this prize this week?
Yeah, well, I thought it was easy to decide this week, just due to the other two teams being so closely matched, and the Swarm just being absolutely dominating against the Firehawks. So I think it was a pretty easy decision for us to make.
Moving on from there, into the Mines team of the week, won there by the Swarm again. We're going to be joined here by the Bathurst Blue Tongues halfback here, the number 7 who has reignited his SRO Mines career here. Domenic Stramandinoli, how you going, mate?
I'm lovely. Great to be on the podcast.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, brother. And we've got you on here, Dom, today to talk to you about the controversy about, the Bill Cosby incident and all of that stuff, and just how you've brought the man himself, Bill Cosby, into your life.
Well, in my game, when I play as wearing that Blue Tongues badge for the badge, we play every week, and it's just a true honour to look in the stands and see all the women looking at me when I roll over the try line for that beautiful 4 points.
It definitely is, and he's talking about the man himself, the Bill Cosby, and that's just one of the ways that Dom has ignited his career here and just injecting the ways of the man into his life. And how has your life on the off field here, mate, Dom, affected you with preparing for games or just daily life?
Well, in training, I always try to include my God, Bill Cosby, in my training routines, with the team, with the Blue Tongues. It's very important to express our culture into the club. And when I look at all the fans and when I'm on the field, even off the field, Bill Cosby is always in my mind. It's always giving that motivation.
Thank you. And Riley, mate, how's he sort of changed? Well, ever since, Riley, this incident, before, he released, Dom, yourself, released some comments about himself on this, how has he changed?
Yeah, look, he's just he's become a lot more vocal about his women. He likes to buy women drinks. He actually has his own cocktail. I had it one night. It was quite something. Couldn't really remember what happened that night. I'm not sure what happened. But yeah, Dom, could you just answer me, what attributes of yourself would you say are most like Bill Cosby?
Well, you could compare my attributes to the man himself. When I roll over the try line as he rolls into, women
Into
of
bed.
age, into bed,
Yeah.
another good one. And it's every day, like when I order a coffee, I always try to impersonate him. I'm even thinking of getting a trim like Bill Cosby if we lose the next game.
Oh, all right. We'll be holding that to you. I'll call up Kaye, the man. And would you also like have you ever watched Tropic Thunder?
I haven't.
All right, well, never mind then.
Thank you very much here for being on the Into the Mines podcast here, Domenic Stramandinoli, that is him, ladies and gentlemen. And Dom, we'd like to congratulate you being the guest speaker on the show here this week. We're proud for you, working out of your comfort zone and just talking about how you rebuilt yourself as a player, but also more than that, a human, and inspiring somebody who not most would or have the confidence to even talk about in the way that you have on the show here tonight. We appreciate you, and congratulations, mate, and welcome to the Into the Mines podcast.
Yeah, cheers for coming on the show, Bill.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on here in the podcast, we're going to be talking about the Into the Mines best starting 13 of the week. And there are a lot of players here who have already been spoken about early in the show. But I'd like you to talk about Johnny Dokalic here, Kaye.
Yeah, Johnny Dokalic, he had a good game. It wasn't one of his best performances, but still another solid one from Johnny. He's just shown time and time again what a class fullback he is. And he just got those line breaks and those meters that he needed for that Ravens game to get them there in the end. And I think he was probably... Well, he had 146 run meters. There we go. I'm just getting the stats up now. And 5 line breaks. That's no small feat for a fullback. And especially with his size, he's just moving around the field in an incredible way. Very Greg Inglis-esque.
Definitely there. And moving on to the rest of the back line, Hone King, Phil Burton, the centre, Kenny Tiawa and Miles Anderson, who in all of their own rights performed amazingly. And how good was that, seeing Hone King in full flight, Riley?
Oh, look, I've been a fan of Hone King since day one. I've been waiting for the redemption arc ever since he took the ball out. But yeah, he's really brought his career around, I guess you could say, since that game. And his last 2 games have just been amazing.
Yeah, and talking about the halves here, Bradley Callaghan and Augustus McDade, both players who really did shine, and people might be talking about why is not Tyler Doonan in there. And me and Riley, the number 6 here was really hard to choose, but we just had to go with Callaghan based on kicking well above most of the rest of the halves, or either equal to Augustus McDade, both performing well here. Moving on here to the forwards, and Carter Daly and Caleb Jeff. And Caleb Jeff returning here and just making, trying to bring back that round 1 performance against the Hogs. It was a really solid performance from him, Kay.
Yeah, I just love watching this young fella go around on the field. And I think he just loves playing against the Firehawks. He had a really good one last round. Not last round, last time they played. And that was the first round. And he's just kind of been quiet for the last couple of weeks. He only got 75 meters, but his defensive efforts, 23 tackles, only 1 missed, as well as 2 line breaks to his name. He had a very good game. And he was just leading by charge and leading by those small 1%ers, the big hits, the scrambling to get to the loose balls. And I think that's really what inspired the Swarm to do as well as they did in this match.
Yeah, no, definitely. And talking about the hooker here and Lockie Cashel. Again, amazing rounded player and filling the shoes of myself there in the Hamilton Swarm. I couldn't be any proud of what he's done, and a very inspirational player he is to be. Rakamanu has mentored him well. He's brought him into the Swarm side, and he's doing amazing things for them. To finish him off here, Felix Stotter. Phoenix Murphy with the fresh cut indeed, and he's straight in there to that number 12 here. Really did do him justice this week, and finishing off there, Filippo Gould. What did Phoenix have to say after that game, Riley, about, walking off the field with a fresh cut there?
Yeah, well, first I just got to give him props. He's made this starting lineup of the week while playing off the bench. I think he only had like 20-something minutes, and his run meters were up there with the top players of the Swarm. But yeah, his haircut's absolutely dog shit, and I wonder how it got like that, eh? But
Yeah, no, definitely.
wow, great performance.
Yeah, again, beautiful performance there from him. And as we're moving into this midway, as we're moving into this, mid-May.
It's alright, you got there eventually.
As we're moving into this
You're mid.
No. As
You're
we're
mid.
moving, shut up. As we're moving into this midway point of the show here, we're going to be playing a little clip here of the Into the Mines try of the week. And again, as you're watching this, don't forget to head down below, leave a comment about what segment ideas you want to have or any feedback you have for myself, Riley here. It's all is appreciated. And if you are, while you're down there, don't forget to have a look in the description for the Into the Mines Discord server to keep up to date with everything about the Into the Mines podcast. But enjoy this clip here. The Firehawks, Filippo Gould, again trying to inspire his team in his last stint here of the second half. They just need to hold on here, the Firehawks. Beautiful.
Oh, Cashel's got an intercept! Cashel's away! And he's going to go under the posts!
What a time to inject yourself, the young hooker, the rookie, Lockie Cashel. Oh my gosh, here, Kaye. Beautiful stuff here from him. He just broke a tackle and was away. Well, the hooker, he's alive here at home for the Swarm. What beautiful stuff here from Hamilton. Continuing the podcast here, we're going to be talking about that try from that man, the Swarm hooker, Lockie Cashel. What a try it was from him, Kaye.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Cashel. He just grabbed that ball, saw an opportunity, and it was a loose one from the Firehawks, and just ran 30 meters to get down under the posts. It was a fantastic try. One of the best tries I've seen in a very long time in the Mines, I said earlier. But yeah, he just absolutely phenomenal stuff from him.
Yeah, no, definitely there. Congratulations to you there, mate, for being awarded the Into the Mines podcast try of the week. What a try it was. Just fending away from one from memory and just running straight through the defenders. There's nobody in sight. Scoring straight under the sticks there for the Hamilton Swarm. Beautiful stuff there from you, mate. Moving on here, we're going to be talking about the Into the Mines podcast shit haircut of the week. And this award is, presented to players who had an amazing game, but at the same time, they do need to have that shit haircut. And we want to congratulate here from the Blue Tongues Phoenix Murphy, what a beautiful game he did have, and he's just an amazing, well-rounded player. And Riley, mate, I'd love you to talk about this one, mate.
Well, as you know, Eddie, Into the Mind shit haircut of the week is my favorite segment of the podcast. And man, his haircut is shit, isn't it? But man, he had a good game coming off the bench, and still going up with the rest of them. Just absolute class player with just a dog shit haircut. I think he can thank me for the haircut as well, but still, great job by him. Shit cut.
Definitely there. Beautiful stuff. And again, thank you, Riley, for doing all the edits this week and for the past 2 weeks. 3 weeks, I should be saying. Just making sure everything's where it is, the pyramid. That's coming up later here. But just everything else that's been presented so far, that's all from the co-host here, Riley Murray, mate. We really do appreciate it, and thank you very much. And talking about the pyramid, up next here, we do have the Into the Minds Pyramid of the Week. And, it's based off of performances in the round and from the, MVP at the top there all the way down to the bottom. All players in their own rights did have an amazing game. We're going to be touching on them here. Starting from the bottom here, we've got Augustus McDade, Riker Manu, Bradley Callahan, Miles Anderson, David Tiawa, and Caleb Jeff. All players who had an amazing game and just had glimpses of greatness during their games here this week. And moving on here, Kaye, I'll get you to talk about these players. Just, just overall, just why are they there?
Yeah, well, these players, they all had solid games. The two halves from the Hogs, I think Bradley Callaghan's been a little bit hard done by. I think he probably could have swapped spots with Dokalic. He really had a good game, Callaghan, especially with that first try in the opening minutes, setting that one up. For the rest of them, good, strong run meters and just did their jobs, executed it to perfection. The players such as Rakamanu, Anderson, Ta'awa, and Jeff all getting the meters that they need to get for their team, and they just put their teams on the front foot. So I think that's what really why they deserve to be in this pyramid.
Definitely there. Moving up here, we're going to be talking about that man with the shit haircut of the week previously in the previous segment, Phoenix Murphy, Carter Daly here, Johnny Dokalic, and Hone King. The amount of swarm players on the pyramid this week is something I was not expecting here, Riley.
Yeah, well, Phoenix Murphy, I'm sick of talking about the guy, but all the Swarm players, they just all played really well, and it shows by the score of the game.
And moving up here, just before the top, we've got Felix Stoter and Rex Buckingham, both players there from the Melbourne Ravens, who had an amazing game here this week. And, Rex Buckingham just is, as you said there, Kaye, he's probably one of the best hookers in the game at the moment.
Yeah, Buckingham, he has been something special for the Ravens. I think he played last season, if I'm not mistaken, at the Gunslingers. He's moved into this Melbourne camp here, and he's done a fantastic job leading them out and just putting in, it plays like a broken record, but the 1%ers, it really is. And just day in, day out, training and working hard every match for his team. And he's done it once again in this match. He's just defensively, he's sound. Offensively, he's sound. He's directing the play. He's saying where the Ravens need to go to score points. And I guess that's why he's up there.
Yeah, no, definitely before we move towards the top, I should say, yeah. Just, those little 1%ers, as you did say, Kaye, they're examples of that, just staying back, getting into training early, or staying back after for half an hour, working with yourself, or maybe even working with a player, one of the young rookies who just, didn't have something go right for them that week, and just making sure that he knows it's not his fault, mate. It's a team effort, and yes, we have errors, but that's how we learn. And moving to the top here, we've got that man, the hooker from the Hamilton Swarm, Lockie Cashel. What a stellar performance it was from him. The try, everything this week, he just rounded off at the top of everything this week. What a player he was, Riley.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think that you can look past the guy when you're looking at all the performances this week. He was definitely just the best player overall, and there's not much you can say against him, really. No flaws in his game. It just was a really great player. Way better than you, Eddie.
Thank you there, mate. And moving on into one of the last segments of the podcast is going to be Into the Mines, Goat of the Week, and look at him in full flight in the background there of that picture. It's Lockie Cashel in full stride there on all four legs. What a player he was. The horns out with his horns were out this week here for the Hamilton Swarm, weren't they? Okay.
Absolutely, he was just locked and loaded against the Firehawks. 22 tackles, 1 missed, a tackle break, and a line break, as well as a try assist and a try to his name. He was doing absolutely everything out on the field. It's just great stuff from Cashel once again. He's really been performing at that high level that you want to see. I'd be very surprised if he goes undrafted in this upcoming draft for next season. And he's just been a great replacement for you. I think that he's easily surpassed you because you're a little bit of a mid player. But yeah, he's just absolutely 100%, 110% even, I'd go to say, deserves the Goat of the Week.
Congratulations there to you, Lockie Cashel. And bring back one of last week's segments. It was the fan-voted player of the week. And it's that man there, Lockie Cashel. And coming up close, who was it, Riley?
Hone King. Hone
King.
King, sorry.
Definitely
he had a very
there.
good game. It was hard to decide which one was better, really. But, yeah, well, the people have spoken. Cashel is the fan-voted player of the week.
Congratulations there to you, mate. Beautiful stuff. And well done there to Hone King, who really has, after this week, probably hoping to look to turn his season around. And as we're moving towards the end of the podcast here, boys, I just want to have your tips here on the next week's games. And starting off with you here, Riley, do you want to talk about the Ravens and the Swarm here next week on the SRL Mines TV?
Yeah, well, my tip is Swarm 13+. They've just had a stellar game, and I think that Ravens are on the decline, almost losing to the West Tigers of the SRL Mines, the Perth Hogs, that is. And yeah, I think that's a safe bet to think that the Swarm are going to come away with this.
Yeah, no, definitely there. And Kaye, mate, you want to talk about yours? Just who you going for, and just why do you think? Just why you are there, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The Cairns Firehawks, they're coming up against the Blue Tongues for the second time this season, this time at home. The Blue Tongues coming off a bye. I think they'll perform well. They came out and kind of fired in the first game in round 2 that they played. It was only 4 points that the Firehawks won it by last time. This time there's no Sharp, there's no Vredo, there's no Christie. I think the Blue Tongues come away, and I think they come away comfortably, 8-12. I'm going to even go Lachlan Holmes to score a double.
Good to hear.
That's why I
that,
love
boys.
you, Kaye.
We're all love here on the Into the Mines podcast this week. And I thank you again there, guys, for joining me. Co-hosts here, Riley Murray, and the SRL Mines Commissioner, Will Kaye, and myself here today, Eddie Oliver. Thank you guys so much for coming out and listening here. What an amazing podcast it was. Again, guys, before the episode finishes here, just go down into the comments and leave a comment down below. Just any feedback you have here for me and Riley, or any segments that you do want to see. And again, while you're down there, go have a look in the description. The Into the Mines podcast Discord link is in there, as always. If you want to request to be a guest speaker, just follow the link and all will be explained to you there. Enjoy your footy next week. Monday, the SRL Mines will be back. Looking forward to a Get Keen. And enjoy your week. Thank you guys for listening.